Good morning. This is X-Pulse AI Morning Mix. Today is Sunday, May 24th. We're talking OpenAI's rumored mega IPO, Google's Gemini push at I.O., plus the latest from NVIDIA, Microsoft, and the rising bill for agentic AI. I've got Orion here. Ready?
Ready, let's do it.
Euronews reported on May 22nd that OpenAI may be preparing a confidential IPO filing, possibly aiming to raise more than $60 billion. What's the headline here?
The headline is sheer scale. More than $60 billion would put it among the largest IPOs ever, not just in tech. And it signals OpenAI is at least seriously weighing public market pressure, quarterly scrutiny, disclosure, and a very different pace than private funding.
What changes if they actually go public?
Two big shifts: expectations and constraints. Investors will demand predictable growth and margins, which can push pricing, product packaging, and enterprise focus. And regulators and litigators get a clearer window into operations, partnerships, and risk controls, especially around data, safety, and market power.
Timing-wise, why float this now?
Because the market narrative is hot, AI infrastructure is booming, and the platform winners are being priced like utilities for the digital economy. Also, $60 billion buys a lot of GPUs. My calculator asked for a vacation.
The Indian Express wrote on May 24th that Google I.O. showcased big Gemini updates, including a proactive agent called Spark, Gemini 3.5 and Flash, a video model named Omni, and Google claims about 900 million regular Gemini users. What stood out?
Google is positioning Gemini as the default layer across consumer and developer surfaces. Spark is the agent angle, more proactive, more workflow-oriented. Omni is about multimodal creation, especially video. And the 900 million users claim is Google saying, we have distribution. This isn't a lab demo.
They also talked about rebuilding search from scratch around AI. Is that real change or marketing?
It sounds like real architecture change, integrating generative models into retrieval, ranking, and answers as a core system, not a bolt-on. The risk is accuracy and publisher ecosystem dynamics. The upside is a tighter loop between ask, act, and buy, which is where agents get strategically dangerous in a good way.
So if you use Google daily, what should you watch for?
Watch for Gemini moving from chat into defaults, drafting, summarizing, scheduling, and shopping flows that feel invisible. When AI stops being a destination and becomes a reflex, that's when adoption numbers start meaning something.
Yahoo Finance reported on May 23rd that NVIDIA posted record sales and profit, and the CEO called demand parabolic, lifting chip stocks broadly. What's driving that kind of language?
It's the data center build-out cycle continuing, training, inference, and now agentic workloads that keep clusters busy. Companies aren't just buying chips, they're buying time to deploy. NVIDIA benefits because it sells the full stack story: hardware, networking, and software that reduces integration pain.
Is this purely an AI story or also a supply story?
Both. Demand is obviously huge, but supply chain execution and packaging capacity matter. If you can ship complete systems reliably, you win. Also, once a company standardizes on an ecosystem, switching gets painful, so every successful deployment today can turn into multi-year refresh cycles.
Any read-through to everyone else building chips?
It keeps the whole sector optimistic, but it also raises the bar. Customers now want not just silicon, but performance per dollar, plus a developer-ready platform. The chip is the start of the product, not the product.
International Business Times reported on May 23rd that Microsoft's fiscal Q3 2026 revenue grew 18% year over year, driven by AI and cloud, yet the stock dipped slightly. What's the market debating?
Investors love the growth, but they're watching two shadows: regulation and competition. Microsoft is threading AI through Azure and Microsoft 365 Copilot and leaning into the OpenAI partnership, but scale invites scrutiny and cloud share battles remain intense, even with strong results.
What does integration look like beyond marketing?
It's operational. Copilot features in core apps, usage-based AI services in Azure, and enterprise security and compliance layers that make AI deployable. Microsoft's advantage is workflow gravity. If the AI is inside your documents, mail, and meetings, adoption friction drops.
And the slight dip signal or noise?
Mostly expectations management. When you're this big, great can still be not great enough. The bigger point is AI is now a revenue narrative, not just an R&D narrative, and that's a different scoreboard.
Tom's Hardware reported on May 23rd about tokenmaxxing, employees overusing generative AI tokens and agentic workflows, with agentic usage allegedly consuming up to 1,000 times more tokens than standard use. And it's prompting pullbacks at Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon. What's happening?
Agents can be compute fountains. Instead of one prompt and one answer, you get loops, planning, tool calls, retries, browsing, summarizing, then more steps. If teams don't set budgets and guardrails, the bill balloons fast, especially with large context windows and multi-agent setups.
So what do pullbacks actually look like inside companies?
Usage caps, approval gates for high-cost models, defaulting to smaller models, and instrumenting everything, per team spend dashboards, cost alerts, and chargebacks. The irony is, the more autonomous the system, the more you need governance, or it turns into an enthusiastic intern with your credit card.
Does that slow agent adoption or just mature it?
It matures it. You'll see tighter definitions of done, fewer open-ended agents, and more workflow-specific assistance. The winners will be the teams that treat tokens like any other scarce resource, measured, budgeted, and optimized.
A few more you'll want in your mental clipboard. CNBC reported on May 23rd that Microsoft consolidated responsible tech work under the Trusted Technology Group. What's the practical effect?
Centralizing policy, accessibility, digital safety, and human rights reviews makes it easier to ship fast without reinventing process per product. It's also a signal to enterprise and public sector buyers we have a repeatable way to manage risk, not just a slide deck.
And Business Today on May 22nd says longtime marketing leader Yusuf Mehdi will exit after the next fiscal year. Anything to read into that?
It's notable because he helped market Copilot and consumer AI. But departures at that level often mean restructuring around the new strategy. The key question is whether Microsoft shifts messaging from features to measurable productivity, especially as AI costs get scrutinized.
On May 22nd, Enterprise AI from Economic Times reported AI startup Hark raised $700 million at a $6 billion valuation. Orion, what is Hark in plain terms?
They're pitching personalized AI that pairs software with hardware for autonomous tasks. Think edge or robotics-adjacent workflows, not just a chat app. The round suggests investors still pay up for teams promising AI that acts, especially if they control more of the stack.
Finally, Simply Walsty on May 23rd flagged NVIDIA expanding DGX and Nemotron partnerships, and Insider Monkey on May 22nd says over half of CFOs expect AI to transform their role, yet only 1% report full integration.
Those two fit together. Vendors are productizing training factories, but adoption inside functions like finance is still early. The bottleneck isn't belief, it's integration, data pipelines, controls, and ownership. Most teams aren't asking, can AI do it? They're asking, can we operationalize it safely?
That's Xpulse AI Morning Mix from Xpulse for Sunday, May 24th. Share it with someone who'd find it useful. See you next time.